Hey everybody, I'm making another video on gay marriage. This is in regards to a debate that I guess it's pronounced mumpty, M-U-M-P-T-Y. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, or I guess mumpty. I don't know, but yeah, this is in I'm answering a debate that was not originally started by this person. It was started by somebody else, but that person didn't respond, and it doesn't seem like he's going to, so I'm responding. Been wanting to make a video for a while, and this seemed like a good opportunity. Like I said, this is about gay marriage. And his first point, I'm not sure if it's really a point, he just sort of mentions it. Disagreements in a democracy are to be expected. And yeah, that's totally true. The big problem, though, the major problem is, well, I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get to that in a minute. I want to talk about some other things. He says he doesn't have any problem with non-Christians getting married. And I think the point of the original poster, whose name I didn't write down, the point that he was making was that if marriage is strictly a religious thing, it's strictly a and supposedly our government is based on Christian morals, which is wrong, but that's for another video. But if our society is based on Christian morals, and if marriage is just a religious ceremony, why are atheists allowed to get married? Why are Christians that don't practice Christianity, Christians that just get married by the courthouse, by the mayor, secular Christians, in other words, how come they're allowed to get married if it's not a if it's only supposed to be a religious ceremony? That's the point that the original poster was making. Your next point that you made was that strictly going off of nature, how nature perceives it, males are supposed to be with females, and that's the only way that reproduction can happen. Therefore, if homosexuality were to be chosen for, I guess would be the accurate term, in nature, then then that species would die out, which is true if homosexuality was chosen for 100% of the population, which is never seen. And actually, homosexuality is seen in a lot of animal species other than humans. A lot of people take that argument the wrong way. They're saying, I got somebody commenting, I didn't even make this argument in my video, but somebody said something to the effect of, you think that you can do it just because animals do it. Well, animals, also fling poop at each other and, all this other stuff. No, that's not what we're saying. And anybody that uses that argument isn't saying that because animals do it, that means we can do it too. That's not what anybody's saying. What people are saying, it's an argument against people that say homosexuality is unnatural. We're not saying that because the animals do it, that means we can do it too. We're saying that because the animals do it, that throws the whole natural argument out of the water. But I'm getting off on a tangent, and I want to go back to my original point that I was trying to make. The idea that because a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, cannot procreate, that's a point against homosexuality. And there's a lot of problems with that. First of all, there's is the sole purpose of marriage for procreation? Is the sole purpose, if the sole purpose of marriage is for procreation, then under that logic, we shouldn't allow sterile couples to marry. All forms of contraception should be outlawed between married couples, etc. I mean, there's a lot of arguments. I don't want to get into all of those. And you say after that, you know, this is just my view, and this is kind of the point that I was making earlier. You know, yeah, it's just your view, and you know, when it's, you know, somebody's opinion, yeah, I respect somebody's opinion, but when your opinion infringes upon my rights, then it's not just your view. It's your view that infringes on my rights. You bring up the point of, you know, that some people say that they're not born gay, that they choose to be gay, and I'm gonna talk about that. I think it really has to do with how you word the question and what people have thought about in their minds what being gay means to them. It's typically considered gay in society when someone is in a relationship, a sexual relationship with someone of the same sex, and that is what is considered gay, although that's not really what being gay is. You can be gay and a virgin. And I think the problem comes in when there is choice involved in homosexuality, in the sense that if you are homosexually active, that's a choice that you've made, obviously. However, the choice that is not yours to make is whether you will find that desirable or not. Now, whether it's genetic, or whether there's some other biological function, or whether it's something that happened with the way that you were raised, it doesn't really matter. What matters is you can't control your own instincts. Your instincts are your instincts. You can control your actions, but you can't control your instincts. And I personally don't see a reason why I should. It doesn't hurt anybody else. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt my partner. I just wanted to make this scenario just so you understand where I'm coming from. Imagine if, now you seem like you're from, you sound like you're from Australia, but your profile says you're from the UK, so I'm a little confused. Maybe you moved to the UK from Australia, but let's say that whatever country you're from, let's say that you moved to the US, and let's say US had a policy, a couple decades ago, the US had a policy where people from other countries were not allowed, their marriages were not recognized in the U.S. Now, these laws have slowly been repealed and repealed and repealed, till eventually it was just your country was the only one that was left. Now imagine if I, let's say that I'm a heterosexual. Let's say that I'm married here in the U.S. and I have a wife, and my argument against you getting married is if Aussies or Brits or whatever you are, if they're allowed to get married, then that will ruin the sanctity of my American marriage. Now, can you imagine how that feels? And that's kind of my point. That's about it. Okay. See you later.